Hey guys, what's going on?
Oh, Nelly.
It's time for another thrilling episode of your favorite show, SonsOfVidya. I am your
I
super...
thought it was a
What?
new super secret episode of Breaking Bad.
No, well,
Everybody's favorite show.
I didn't actually want to tell anybody, but nobody's gotten our joke yet, which is that this is actually a wine tasting podcast, a comedy wine tasting podcast. But we've just been doing a joke for the past 86 episodes that we were actually a video game show. It's because nobody's sophisticated enough for these jokes, you know?
Well, the real key is that we put beneath this layer of sound, there's an infrasound level that's all about wine reviews, but humans can't hear it. That's the ultimate secret.
Actually, it makes you sick, now that I think about it.
Yeah, it makes you sick.
Because it's, it's got just the
Makes you
frequency
physically ill. Yeah.
to vibrate your stomach in a way that only the most talented porn star can do. That makes you sick,
I don't think you're allowed to say that.
Sorry. So anyway, how's it going up there in Antarctica? I assume you travel straight up to go around the Earth, so up there in
Yeah,
Antarctica.
that makes sense.
Yeah, how's that going?
Everything's good. It's a little cold, but that's to be expected because it's cold.
Honestly, it doesn't matter where you go, it's cold. Like, you're not getting anything good here.
Yeah, that's pretty true.
Dude, we often talk about summer games in summer. We never talk about... Did we talk about winter games in winter?
We totally did.
Oh, yeah. I always talk about Christmas games, but we didn't talk... I guess it's the same thing.
Yeah, I would probably consider them the same thing, more or less.
Yeah, it's true.
Should we not do that? Is that too real for all
y'all?
y'all?
We're not going to do that, but now that everyone's been reminded, we can continue because we're good hosts. By the way, guys, I'm your intrepid host, Tom C. That was never mentioned.
Oh, yeah, I'm D-Mercs.
I feel it's kind of, underserving the audience if I don't introduce myself every single episode.
Well,
they're here for that, That's what they want.
Normally we introduce ourselves every half of the show.
That is true. Honestly, I'm just really satisfied with my name. I feel like I nailed it.
Well, the key is we're offering the more introductions per episode than any other podcast. That's one of the things that we're the leader of in this particular field.
Hey,
I think it's something to be proud of.
Listen, I was about to ask a dumb question, but then I thought of a good question. My dumb question was, what do you tend to name your characters in games? Like, do you use your own name? And then I was like, that's a dumb question. Now my new question is, do you find yourself often playing as characters of the opposite sex in games?
I think we've talked about this before, but I think I have a pretty even split. It really kind of depends on what character I'm going for.
Okay.
I mean, like, you only get a certain... There are only a couple, if you're playing, Mass Effect I always play as a girl because FemShep is clearly superior to regular male shepherd.
And there's only one vocal track choice, Yeah. You can't, pick different voices.
And Jennifer Hale is better than whoever they got to do the
What else do I know Jennifer
voice. Hale
from?
She was she's Naomi Campbell in Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah, she totally
is. She's a couple different people. She was also in I think she was in Eternal Darkness.
I should not have Googled her because she is not the woman I imagined her being.
Yeah, I've also done that in the past.
She's 42, but whatever. Anyway, yeah. Her voice is really good though.
Yeah, she's a great voice.
Honestly, the reason I always pick her in Mass Effect is because she's just a better actress than the dude.
Yeah, she's pretty talented.
She's in.
Dude, I wish that we were voicemen.
Dude, honestly, I don't have that great of a voice. I think you could do it. I actually heard from someone recently, and you're not going to believe this, but they said that you had a voice that was perfect for cartoons.
Really?
Yes, I'm not even kidding.
What kind of cartoons?
I don't know. Well, that's a weird question. Like, what kind of cartoons?
Okay. So, what kind of characters in cartoons?
Just like a children's cartoon voice, like for I guess they mean you have a very not enthusiastic, but good emphasis for these kind of things.
We wouldn't say you're enthusiastic. We'd say you're lazy.
It's just that you have a good delivery for that kind of stuff is what I meant to say.
Well, that's very nice. Whoever said that.
Yeah, but of course I sound like a complete nut job. I'm constantly murmuring to myself under my breath about how great I am and how terrible you are. And that
Yeah,
it's not
that's
just
to be
on the
expected.
show. It's in my real life too. And so that I think would take away from my ability to do most roles because I'm so great and D Marks is terrible.
Dude, sometimes you kind of remind me of Charlie Day a little bit, which I
Thank
like.
you. It's just because of my good looks, I think.
Well, you both have that kind. You both have that kind of
We
like.
both wear shirts with
Ex-
holes in them. We know that.
yeah, very often.
I have a
No,
terrible
it's like
beard.
you both get that kind of like excitedness to you, like when you're excited for something.
Yeah.
It's just like very similar to that kind of like almost giddiness, you know?
I think that's it translates better to real life like kind of things, which is why
Oh yeah, it
I'm
does.
up for the Oscar this year for my role
Real life
portraying.
Oscar
What I did was a biopic on Charlie Day, a biopic on Charlie Day,
biopic.
where I played him, and it's up for an Oscar.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Didn't get it because it was last year, and you probably heard all the winners. So whatever.
Oh, it was last year? I thought it was this year.
Nope, they didn't announce those yet.
I know. That's why I was surprised that you said you already lost.
Right. So it was this year, meaning last year's. Duh.
Okay.
I know you're not in the
Sorry.
industry like I am, but that's how it works, man. But
You're a
anyway,
professional act man.
so what are the reasons you'd pick a girl in a game? And I'm gonna ask this with this preceding thing. Is it because you want to play a character that subscribes to a certain gender role? Like, would you ever play a girl in a game to then do a more masculine role with a female character, or do you do it to play as a girl in a more gender-specific role, like as maybe she's like a seductressly kind of person? You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, the problem is with a lot of times in video games is the fact that like it's difficult to explore those kind of options. Like a lot of games don't really go in depth to like the kind of interactions that you could potentially be doing with the way that genders work. I mean, in certain games, obviously, there's like the speech skill, and there are certain like perks or skills or whatever that you can take, and they'll increase your effectiveness when dealing with males or females, the opposite sex, the same sex, blah blah blah, et cetera, et cetera. But like, I don't think that anything really goes in that deeply that I could just specifically be like, I'm gonna play, this femme fatale who gets what she wants because she shows a bit of cleave and gets the guards to look the other way, and then she hacks onto their computers or punches them in the face or something. Like I'm not sure if that really crosses my mind at all. You know?
Right. I mean, but a lot of this kind of stuff is just in your head too, though. You know? Because
Yeah,
like you and me, we both make up backstories for stuff. Like this could especially be true in something like Mountain Blade, where you'd make up a huge backstory on how you got so far, and even a backstory about why you're so effective at certain things. You know?
Well, I tend to do that a lot in Fallout as well, because especially in New Vegas, where there's really no backstory to your character at all. I mean, it's a lot harder to do in 3 because you're a 19-year-old kid who's
Got a complete
missing
backstory.
He misses his dad. You miss your dad.
You miss your dad.
You miss your
Don't
dad.
worry,
But in
your
New
dad'll
Vegas,
be back.
in New Vegas, you're just like some guy or chick who's carrying a thing to another thing, and then you get shot, and that's it. That's the whole game.
Yeah,
Spoiler
I bet you
alert,
there's a lot of
spoiler alert, you're killed immediately.
I bet you there's a lot of alternate starts for Fallout 3 mods.
Yeah,
'Cause
well,
that's
I
like a
know
no-brainer.
I know there's a few that's just skipping the opening because nobody wants to do that. Like
Yeah, I sure
it's,
don't want to do that. That's right.
Like it's interesting the first time because you're like, oh, okay, you're kind of getting a feel for life in the vault and where you're coming from as a character. But like the second time you go through, you're just kind of like, It's like what happened. It's like what happened when I started a new game in Deus Ex for this last time. I was like, okay, starting a new game plus, here we go. But having me do the whole opening part with like the attack on Seraph Industries, and I'm just like, I already know this happened. I don't need to do this.
Yeah, I really desperately wish
Just-
I could skip that.
Just get me to robot parts. Give me my robo eyes.
Because that part's like no fun at all.
No.
It's
I mean, it's
not
short,
fun.
but like, first of all, it's a pain if you're trying to do a pacifist run because it's hard to sneak by those enemies early on without killing them.
Yeah.
But
Does pacifist run
whatever.
mean you don't knock them out too?
No, you're allowed to knock people out.
All right. All right, good. I know I complained a lot about Deus Ex in the last episode, and I apologize. I know we also talked a lot about Deus Ex for the last 3 weeks, so everyone shut up. It's my fault, because it's a great game, and I'm really enjoying it.
I don't remember you complaining all that much.
I complained a lot. Okay,
you complained a lot about the missing link, which I think is due.
Okay, if you re-listen to the episode, I actually finished the episode today, because guys, I listen to my own show because I'm incredibly cool. I specifically say, don't play the game just because of how bad that DLC is. Which is harsh and sort of fair. But it's rude. It's mega rude.
That's pretty hardcore.
Yeah. But it is rude.
Did I say last week how I talked about how I got the Factory Zero? I don't remember.
You said you were trying for it.
Oh, well, I totally did it, and it was bullcrap, and it was really hard.
Yeah, I want to hear more about that. Because we talked briefly about things we do that are really hard in games last week, but we didn't, like, does that rank up there as, like, one of the hardest things you've had to do?
Yeah, that was pretty difficult, especially because, like, I was so used by, because guys, all right, so I was doing a New Game Plus in Deus Ex, and I tried doing it on the most difficult difficulty, and I was going for the achievement for the missing link that's completing the missing link without upgrading any praxis, without using any weapons or mines or grenades. So
which is crazy. It's like pure madness.
It's really hard. So I had 2 batteries. The only thing I could do was takedowns. I couldn't hack any doors. I couldn't turn invisible, which I've really grown to rely on in my Deus Ex career. So like it was really difficult. I managed to beat it, which I felt actually pretty positive about because I was like, yeah, I totally beat it. Yeah.
I mean,
but like,
yeah.
Would I do it again? No, because I don't have to. But if I had to do it again, would I? Probably not, because I mean, like, it certainly was interesting, and as far as it was the first time I felt in a long time where I was actually like, not nervous, but I actually felt like I kind of felt like on the edge of my seat because I knew what I was trying to do and I knew what I was trying to accomplish, and it was a real question of whether or not I could accomplish those goals while keeping it within the limitations of not using any of that stuff. You know?
Yeah.
So it was definitely a different experience. I maybe not have done it on the highest difficulty possible, but you know, whatever.
Can you do that on any difficulty?
Yeah, you can do it on any difficulty. I was just going for the achievement to beat on super hard regular difficulty.
Yeah, you were already in the neighborhood.
Yeah, so, but I gave it a try and I succeeded, and it feels good. Also, guys, I totally saved the prisoners and that doctor lady, which was neat. Yeah,
you told me about there's apparently a lot of secrets that I would never have found if you don't know about them.
Yeah, well, that game does do a really good job with like Easter eggs and stuff, and like a lot of the method that I read about saving both the hostages and the doctor lady, I actually read through a walkthrough about it on the wiki, and it's like, well, that's the only thing you can do, and I totally did it, and it was kind of difficult and really hard, especially because I couldn't use weapons. See,
that's kind of a weird thing because I tend to avoid any kind of walkthrough about games because I like experiencing it for myself. But that means that's something that I missed out on because I never read walkthroughs.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's something I never would have thought about because while a common thought process that I have when I'm playing Deus Ex is, you know, whenever I'm confronted with an obstacle, I always think to myself, okay, how else can I do this? Like, because that game does a really good job of creating alternate paths and giving you a chance to figure out how you're going to accomplish tackling the obstacles in front of you, whether it's through violence or, you know, finding an air duct to sneak through, which is always the best idea because air duct's great, or, you know, bypassing areas altogether. Because, like, you don't have to save Malik in that one part. You can let her die and just, you know, totally walk out.
But I'm never going to do that.
Well, I know. The problem is that, like, I literally could never do that because I'm just like, I'm too attached to Malik at that point. I'm just like, I don't give a fuck. I'm going to kill everybody who's here.
Like honestly,
I
I
don't care
I almost wonder what happens if you don't save her, because like I'm never going to do that, but I don't know what could that. Do you get some other pilot or something?
Well, if for the time that she straight up died, because there's 3 outcomes apparently. You can save her. She straight up dies just from damage, and her helicopter thingy explodes. And I did get that one time, but then I totally reloaded that save because I was going to let that fly.
Of course.
And then I guess the last one from what I read is if you get on that elevator and like sneak out of the area before she dies, like some bell tower dude walks up and like pulls her out of the cockpit and just shoots her in the face.
That's probably the worst of all.
So I don't want to do any of that. I don't want to do that.
Why are bell tower guys such jerks, right?
Dude, it's because they're Illuminados.
I think they're just mercenaries for Illuminados.
Well, yeah, but I think it was kind of hinted at that Burke knew what was going on a little bit, in the missing link.
That's true.
Because they
that's
were
a
doing
little
the
different,
hiring.
though. He was kind of a higher
yeah.
up there, though.
Well, I don't disagree that he was definitely a higher up guy, but it does show that he had some knowledge of what was going on.
Dude, my question, and this is not for my megalomaniac villain career that I'm planning, how do you convince henchmen to just do whatever you want, and even though it's obviously evil? Like, I'm going to be honest. If I was a mercenary, which I am, we've both been for many years, I don't think I could just be like, all right, what I'm doing is obvious. I'm going to work in a prison where we're imprisoning a vast amount of innocent people for no good reason, and they're constantly begging for their freedom. That's my job, and I'm going to go there 9 to 5 every day. Like, how do you convince henchmen to be so into that? I need to know for school.
Well, here's the thing, because in the last run that I did, I was telling you about this, and guys, this is really cool, and then I actually really like this. There's one mission that I never did before because I never found the guy who initiates it. But in this one in the limb clinic in Hangshaw, the second time that the time that you go back, so Act 4, I guess you'd call it. When you go back to Hangshaw and you go to the limb clinic, there's this doctor there who tells you about these rogue cell of bell tower commandos who totally like defected and went independent, and he's like, these guys are really bad news, and I'd really appreciate it if you guys went and if you stopped them. And I'm just like, okay, I'll see what I can do. So you go find him, and you go up and you talk to like the leader guy, and he's like, oh, hey, Jensen, how's it going? I'm totally a crazy commando guy, and I know all about you, and I'm pretty cool. You're like, what you're doing is wrong. And the guy's like, you don't even know what I'm doing. I'm killing. What I'm doing is I'm hunting down and killing bell tower dudes, because they injected my team with memory-altering things so they could get us to do totally evil, illegal, horrible things, and we wouldn't have any idea about it. But now these chips are malfunctioning, and now we're aware of all these bad stuff that we did, and now we're going to take our revenge because they turned us into puppets. And you're like, okay, this is totally awesome and like my favorite part of the game now. Congrats, you've almost topped Malik as my favorite character.
Dude, my
Congrats,
real question
sir.
is, did you do side quests in your hard run?
Oh yeah, of course.
Really?
I do side quests compulsively. Like even if I didn't have to, I'm just like, I sure do like side quests.
Because like now that
it's not like that makes because they don't make
did
them
it, you
that
know,
much
and
more
like
difficult.
it's the hardest thing. I would just be doing straight line run through it.
Yeah, but I like living, especially in the Hangshaw parts. I like living in the world, and I like doing things. And sometimes it's for the better because some of the rewards you get are actually worthwhile.
Yeah.
Because if you finish that mission while you let him go, the guy actually calls some of his old bell tower friends, and he like gets them to change patrols around Hangshaw so there aren't as many dudes around to try and catch you.
So that's what you're supposed to do. I always end up just punching the dudes to death.
Oh, I just always like sneak by them. They're not that attentive.
Yeah, but I like punching people, so that's kind of the problem there.
Well, that's fair. That is entirely fair. But yeah, that guy's really cool. It's really.
Guys, we think you're really cool, and we're going to talk to you a little bit more in the next thrilling half.
Guys, see you next half. Welcome back to the show.
Well, 95 boy, what?
98.1. Guys, welcome back to the show.
Welcome back to our thrilling show on the internet, the SonsOfVidya podcast. Guys,
I had to be the SonsOfVidya.
the finest Irish podcast.
The finest Irish video game podcast.
Hi, laddie.
Straight from Dublin.
Come listen to our podcast. All right, anyway. We stopped now that I did a terrible impression. Now we can continue.
D-Mark's super secret recipe. If you want if you want a delicious Irish podcast, pour Bailey's on your MP3 player.
Do you mind Irishing up this coffee a little bit?
Don't say the I word in this house.
Thank you for knowing these things.
Anyway, guys, welcome back to the show. Second half. Most exciting half of this
We all
episode.
know that. Guys,
Yeah.
Recently there was an online petition that was to get rid of the Sun's second half of the podcast, and everyone voted for it, but we executive vetoed it to not be taken away, so sorry.
Well, here's the thing. I think it's because since we've been talking about Deus Ex so much, I think the Illuminati are starting to kind of, get on our case.
Well, that's obviously it, and that's why I put the veto on it. Because we need to show that we have the same power, if not more power, than these internet petition writing Illuminati.
Yeah, definitely. That's the most true thing I've ever heard.
And also, we have more power than our fans who actively are trying to get us to fix the show, and we refuse to do it because we have more power than that.
Yeah, that's a whole thing.
That's how this works, guys. That's how the show will live on, by completely ignoring everyone and just living on, regardless of popular opinion. You know.
Yeah, I think that anybody is going to find that we're immortals in the realm of, say, a Shakespeare or an Oscar Wilde or a guy who wrote Gilgamesh.
Just ask yourself this: who can't be killed more than someone who refuses to die? And that's what we're doing here, guys, with this second half. So,
Can't kill a dancing man.
Can't kill a dancing man. Guys, I don't even know. I've been doing this. The problem, guys, is we've been doing the same crap we've been doing last week. I've been playing more Ikaruga. I've been playing more Resident Evil 6. I've been playing a bunch of stuff.
Well,
but
here's
it's all the
thing.
same crap.
Here's why it's a little different, because I actually watched you play a little Resident Evil 6, and I got my real first taste of it.
Which we talked kind of crap about it for a few weeks. I've been kind of coming around more on it lately, and I would like to hear what your opinion on it is now that you've seen it.
He said moron.
Listen, I am a moron. That's why I said it.
Deal. Anyway, so I watched you play it for a little bit.
Did you hate its guts?
Well, I don't think I hate it quite as much. I do. It does have a lot more charm to it than I originally gave it credit for, because I definitely thought it was just going to be more of the same as far as 5 went, and 5 was a game that took itself. I feel like it took itself really seriously, and it was, really just like, Chris Redfield's got to stop this with his tremendous biceps. The biceps are going to save the world. Well, like this game, especially
bicep. Super always aggro. That's what I'm gonna go
I would
with.
say awesome arms. Bicep super awesome arms.
This is why you're the guy. This is why you're the guy.
Thank you. But I mean, especially the mercenaries mode seemed
which
to have
I just
a lot
discovered, guys, existed. I thought I had to beat the game to get to mercenaries mode. It's just hidden away in 3 menus, like deep in there.
Yeah,
and
it's
I
three
am in
menus-
love.
three
I'm in
menus
love with
deep.
the mercenaries mode now, guys, because the mercenaries
Have you
mode is
played any
super
more of
rad in
it?
this game. I played a little bit more of it. Yeah,
Cool.
I'm super pumped about it. It's really good in this one.
Well, the thing is, like, the thing I like about it is that there's a really nice there's really nice enemy design. There's a lot of different styles of zombies, and that makes it fun to look at and fun to shoot, because you're like, oh, guy's a fireman, and like it's cool because the firemen have their oxygen tanks on their back, but you can totally shoot them and blow them up, which is really cool.
Like, honestly, it seems like this is a more arcadey version and a little bit less, like a more goofy one, like a shockingly goofy mercenaries mode. Because in like 4, it was a little more serious. The levels were darker and more like muddy. But in this one, the first level is like a Chinese town, and it's all brightly colored, and like there's arcades and stuff. And that's just fun to be around in that situation, like fighting zombies and stuff. Because the zombies are it's just goofy fun, and you have fun weapons that are like more. Because the one dude has karate fists, which I respect, and it's just like it just seems like they got rid of the pretext of like a serious game for mercenaries, and I'm having a lot of fun with it then.
Dude, you forgot about the best thing about the mercenaries mode, which is the police guys who have like submachine guns who will just randomly fire them up into the air and then throw the guns at you.
Yeah,
it's really
it's
funny
super
every
cool.
time.
And like it's just I was very glad to see it because I also believe that you get skill points through mercenaries mode, which then applies to your story mode run, which is way better than I could ever ask for.
Well, I think it would make sense to me at least that the skills that you get carry over between the different like chapters.
Yeah.
So the skills that you use in like your Chris run will apply also to like the Leon and the
I think it's like a global skills thing. Yeah.
Because I think those will also apply to mercenaries as well. So I think it's a global skill thing that applies to like basically everything on your profile.
Yeah, and they could have been jerks about that and done it a stupider way, but this way it's like, oh, not only am I having fun in this mode, but it's applying to my story game, which is what also, everyone wants. It gives you a reason to accomplish it.
Also, guys, on Resident Evil news, Resident Evil 4 HD Edition is coming to Steam.
We actually talked about this last episode.
Did we?
Yep.
Oh, I'm sorry, I repeated myself.
I'm very excited for it, though. That has not changed.
You know what we didn't talk about last episode because it didn't come out before, or maybe it did and I just didn't remember. But they released a new teaser trailer for the second Burial at Sea.
I don't know anything about this.
That's because I've been actually following it. It looks a lot more promising than the first one did. Yeah, I really like because here's the deal. It's minor spoilers, I guess, but who gives a crap?
We already totally told everyone the story last time.
Oh yeah, we totally did.
Yeah.
So it builds off of last time definitely, but it takes place like. The trailer, at least from what I understand, takes place like right after Elizabeth murders the F out of Booker / Comstock. Because like,
wait, in Colombia?
No, in Rapture.
Okay.
So it takes place like right.
She didn't do it in the other one. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So it's right after the Big Daddy kills Booker.
Yeah.
So it's right after that, and Atlas and some of his cronies are like trying to pull the Sally little sister out of like the vent, and they like look at Elizabeth and she got like knocked out or something. So they're talking to her, and they're just like, "Oh, you must be one of Ryan's spies, so we're gonna murder you." But then like Elizabeth's like, "Oh crap, what am I gonna do?" And then like you look over, and there's Booker in his Rapture outfit, and he's just like playing the guitar. And he like starts talking to Elizabeth and tells her what to say so that Atlas will listen to her and help her escape. It's really interesting. I think it's gonna be really cool, actually.
Yeah, that's a pretty neat approach because you're gonna play as Elizabeth, right?
Yeah, this is the one where he plays Elizabeth.
Yeah, it's definitely a neat angle to it.
Yeah, I think it definitely seems a lot more intriguing than it's something that I would have liked. It's a lot more of what I would have liked to see with the episode 1. Because I've said it a million times before, episode 1 was just Bioshock fan service, or fan fiction.
Yeah.
Fan service is something else. But it was best Bioshock fan fiction, whereas this actually feels like a really nice congruence of what Elizabeth's powers can be in the realms of Bioshock and like the different worlds there. So like, you don't know who this Phantom Booker is, if he's real, if he's like a vision, because they talked about it a few times in Infinite how the people who get to travel through the different rifts, they suffer hallucinations a lot of times, and you don't know if it's just a hallucination or if it's another Booker. None of Suchong's guys see, or not Suchong, none of Atlas's guys see Booker, so you assume that he's a ghost or a hallucination, but you don't know. So I think it's going to be really interesting, and I'm actually looking forward to it. I think it's going to build. I think it's going to build really well off of the disappointment that was this first episode.
Honestly, that's very encouraging to hear because I was not expecting to hear that it was going to be in any way something to be excited about.
Well, I mean, who knows what it's going to be like? But I'm much more excited for this episode than I was even before I played the first episode. Because the first episode I was not super into going into it, but this I could see being something really cool and actually being interesting to play.
Yeah, I don't even know if I'm going to jump. Maybe I'll wait until you play it and then I'll see how it is.
Yeah, I mean, we both have it for free because we both have the season pass.
Yeah, but I have a feeling you'll play it before I do because that's what happened last time.
That is true. I think it's actually coming out because they put up a release date for it. I think it's actually coming out the same day that Ground Zero is coming out.
Well, that's a mistake. Because if I have any way of which I could play Ground Zeroes, that's what I'm going to play. Although people have been complaining because apparently it's going to be like as long as the tanker mission was.
No, it's going to be longer than that.
People say it's going to be only like 2 hours or so.
No, Kojima's confirmed that it's going to be a lot longer than that. I mean, it's not going to be super long, but it's definitely going to be. Oh, okay, so Ground Zeroes comes out March 18th, and Burial at Sea episode 2 comes out the next week, March 25th. So about a month from now.
Yeah, that's not so bad.
No, I've heard Ground Zeroes is going to be a lot longer than Tanker Mission because Tanker Missions, if you do it really fast, it's like what, 45 minutes?
Probably faster than that.
Yeah.
But that's only if you're like really speed running it.
Well, yeah, but even so,
like on my longest run, it's probably taken maybe 3 to 5 hours.
Yeah, I mean it probably. I'm not sure if it's going to be too much longer than that, but I know for a fact that there's like base building and stuff, and there's a bunch of different side missions for everything. So to say that they're going to cram all that in 5 hours, I'm not sure how they would do that. You know.
Also, how much is it?
It's $40. It's cheaper than a full game.
Yeah. Okay, I can respect that.
Yeah.
I didn't if they were gonna try and get $60 for something that's like obviously like a prequel or whatever.
No. I think they did the right thing as far as that's concerned.
Yeah.
Let me double check that, but I'm pretty sure that it's well, at least for PlayStation. Oh, even PlayStation 4 is only $40. That's not bad at all.
Yeah, it's not bad at all.
Can't hate that.
Can't hate that. Yeah, I'm definitely excited for that, but I have no way of playing it because apparently what?
It's $30 for PS3. What? What are you talking about?
Yo, ding 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 ding. That's exactly how much it should be, honestly.
Yeah. I can't complain about $30.
I also can't complain about $30. But I can't play it until I get a PS3 again, guys. So don't wait on me for your classic Tom C review, which I've never done in my life.
Dude, then you don't have an excuse not to play BioShock. Think about it.
I know. That's how they get you, guys. They get you by you not having a system. Dude, in kind of related news, I don't know when Guilty Gear Xrd comes out, but apparently Isuka was just released on Steam, and there's like a lot of talk about Arc System making more stuff, or at least porting stuff to the PC as a platform, which would if they first of all. Like, if they even brought that to the PC, that would, like, dominate for a huge amount of time because there's just no fighting games.
Yeah.
If that was even, like, a consideration, that'd be awesome. Like, just if they stopped being so brand loyal to PS3, we could really have some real good stuff going. Really want them to do that. So I might secretly just buy Asuka just to get them to maybe help that make them some more money on that platform there.
Yeah, that's cool. I didn't even know about that.
Yeah,
they released
like just recently.
They released there's a PC port of
X2.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's way old, but like I got it off what was it? GOG a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go to Azuka. Look at that. It's right there.
Yeah, but because like people would play it, like even games that like in a lot of cases, fighting games that get ported to PC, often the PC version is seen as like the. It's gonna sound like I'm wanking here, but like it's seen as like the ultimate version, just because there's the most ability for people to play it with like the biggest audience. Because the problem with releasing on PS3 and 360 is that since you can't play across consoles, like they end up dying faster as far as multiplayer is concerned. Because like if you want to go and play Skullgirls online and you try and do it on your 360, there's like no games available because nobody's there. People have kind of like migrated to the PC version of it because there's the biggest market of people who want to play online there.
Yeah, that makes sense. Because I'm sure that's the case I'm sure that is the case with even like FPSs and stuff, especially for older ones. Because like people probably don't play because a lot of it probably has to do with the fact that like the way that generations move on, because people stop playing World at War because they trade in their Xbox 360s in favor of Xbox Ones. But people on PC can still play it and they can still have fun with it because World at War is a pretty good game.
Yeah. If I don't know if there's anyone still playing World at War, but I wish they were, because that's seriously the best World War II game I've ever played.
Yeah.
God, that game's so good.
Guys,
I wonder go play that.
I wonder if they've announced a new Call of Duty game this year. I wonder if it's going to be more of this modern nonsense.
Dude, I think Ghost didn't do that great.
No, I definitely don't think so either.
I mean, it probably did really good, but I don't think it did as good as like Black Ops 2 or whatever.
Well, I remember that it went on sale super fast after it was released.
Yeah, I think people are starting to. I think the higher ups are starting to see more that people don't want new things this often, especially when they have like competition from like Battlefield is doing it that often too. Like, I know it's getting to the Guitar Hero Rock Band kind of area where just things aren't popular anymore, or people just don't want to keep playing the same thing.
Yeah, I think that they're no, new Call of Duty game will be released in 2014. But yeah, it is saying here that despite reaching $1 billion of sale of units in only 24 hours after the game launched, sales were down from Call of Duty Black Ops 2 for Ghosts, which I believe, because really it did go on sale fast afterwards.
Yeah. Though they still apparently sold a bajillion, so whatever.
Yeah.
They're not too sad about that, I guess. But guys, if you're sad...
you can play as a dog. That's cool.
I like dogs.
Yeah, I like dogs too.
But guys, if you are sad that this episode's coming to an end, please email us. Tell us what you think. Say, Tom C., why don't you make this show 45 hours long? And we'll consider it for about 5 seconds.
I was about to say, I'm probably not going to consider that. I'm going to be honest with you.
I'm sorry, we can't even entertain that. We can't. But I'll think about it while I'm deleting your email. That's what I'll do.
Or you can tell us that we should make our YouTube videos 1 billion hours long, and we'll also not do that.
We'll think about it as we're deleting you from our memory, because I don't know how to delete YouTube comments.
I think there's a way of doing that, but I'm not sure. Regardless, guys, the point remains that we want to hear from you, and we want to see you, and we want to hear you seeing us.
And you should rate us on iTunes. That's another way for you to definitely be heard, because I apparently read every single iTunes rating on the show.
I was about to say, you do it on air, which is fun.
So even if you write something completely incomprehensible, I'll probably read it. Think about that.
Because that's what nice people do.
Because I'm a really smart guy.
Tom, do you know what else nice people do, though? They give people the speed reviews. Tom, this is the top 10 games of 2003 as chosen by top 10 list writers. Number 10, Papers, Please.
Papers, Please is a game where you play as the guy who makes papers, please. All kinds of papers. Paper towels, paper plates, you name it, you make it. 10 out of 10. Jelly No Puzzle.
Jelly No Puzzle is a game when I accidentally dropped a jar of jelly on the floor, so I had to put all the pieces back together so my mom wouldn't get mad at me. So I think it's a 1 out of 10. Number 8, Last of Us.
Last of Us is a game that's pretty alright. I would give it a 9 out of 10 because it's fun. Path of Exile.
Path of X-Files is a game where you follow Mulder and Scully up into the mountains for a nice camping weekend, and there's nothing spooky. It's just picnics, and it gets a 10 out of 10. Number 6, Rogue Legacy.
That last one took me a second. Rogue Legacy is awesome. 10 out of 10. Bioshock Infinite.
Bioshock Infinite is pretty good. 9 out of 10. Number 4, Payday 2.
Payday 2 is a game where you learn how to make those delicious candy bars. And spoilers, just caramel and peanuts. Not even like a confusing thing. It's a really short game for that reason. 1 out of 10. The Stanley Parable.
The Stanley Parabola is a game where you learn all about mathematics and Cartesian planes and physics and all that other stuff. And it's really hard, so you got to do all your homework. It's 5 out of 10. Number 2, Animal Crossing New Leaf.
New Leaf takes place after the previous Animal Crossings and the terrible murders that happened. And you're forming a new leaf where you swear off murdering animals forever. Very deep, very controversial. 7 out of 10. Tomb Raider.
Tom Raider is the story of a man on the edge, his need to constantly braid little girls' hair. But the judge said he probably shouldn't do that no more. It's a compelling story all about the dark side of cosmetology. It's a 10 out of 10. That's it, guys.
We did it.
Guys,
See you next week.
Again. See you next week.